Hey guys, Martinkin here, bringing another Dragon Ball Z Dokkan battle video. And so we got a data download on Global earlier today, which included a bunch of different things that we know are coming up in the next few days, as well as something that we have been waiting for ever since its announcement on JP. I mean, there's no point keeping it a surprise. I'm probably going to put it in the title, and Rosé will probably be in the thumbnail as well. But this data download also includes the buff to physical Dokkan Fest Rosé that was on JP, ready for his release. We were talking about this the other day, right? Like, they didn't fix this in the big data download that happened right before he came out on JP. And one of the big bones of contention, especially for me, was that I didn't want them to be waiting all the way until Rosé was going to be on a banner again next, because that won't probably be until after the anniversary. And, you know, those of us who did pull him when he first came out, we want him to have that buff ready for the anniversary so we can use him for the anniversary content. And he does indeed have that. We'll go over the details of that here, and then I am going to do a video showcasing him off later today with his buff. So shout out to Proton, as always, for compiling the data download info into a thread. We appreciate you, my boy. So you can see here, we have the Int, Chilled, Super Strike, Awakening, and EZA. There's three main cards that get mentioned in this, and we'll go through their details and everything after we go down the list. But the Int, Chilled, Super Strike, he's relatively good for a free-to-play unit. Super Strike revamp things are always good to do. Go through them all, do all the missions, because you end up getting like 20-odd stones or something. So even if you're not going to use the unit, you do still get a few stones out of it, so it's definitely worth doing. You also get a bunch of copies like from doing the missions and everything, so that you can raise up the super attacks. There's not a lot of like grinding you have to do unless you're starting completely from scratch. If you already have the chilled, like if you're someone who's a longer time player and you have all the super strike cards farmed up already, you auto complete a bunch of the missions, which makes the overall process a lot quicker. So we got the chilled super strike that is coming out tomorrow morning. So there's all the details there. Bonus drops for the stage will be Pure Saiyan, so that will be nice and easy. Then we have Time Limit Super Battle Road, shouldn't be too difficult. And we have Kamehameha Extreme Super Battle Road. Considering some of the characters we've had come out recently, especially with like the Golden Week Super Saiyan 3 Goku, these should not be too difficult at all. Then we have the Legendary Frieza event comes out on the 12th, which I believe is, yeah, next Wednesday. So this is not out tomorrow, but the Fighting Legend Frieza is finally being added, as well as the DB story update that we've seen in the news as well for the Namek saga. Bonus drop, sworn enemies. Always good when these events get revamped. There's 12 stages, which means bare minimum, if there's only the 2 difficulties, which a lot of these DB stories have, just by re-clearing through all of these stages, you're going to get 24 stones, plus whatever there is available from missions. There's a cutscene here that shows in the story mode, which is basically just the Namek Goku transformation. But there's also this, which is basically the support memory that's going to be dropping to be farmed as part of this event. Is it like, I think it's called Goku's Mercy or Goku's Compassion, something like that. So Goku giving Frieza the energy at the end of the fight on Namek. And then, of course, we have the... It almost feels like tongue-in-cheek to say it like that, but the big ticket EZA, right, for the celebration, the Dokkan Fest exclusive TUR EZA for Frieza celebration is, of course, AGL Bardock. The category weakness is Terrifying Conquerors. I'll have a team building guide up for that later today, as always. And then, yeah, obviously his medals and everything. We get a new Petan starting tomorrow morning as well, Series 16. I was able to finish off Series 15 when it came back last time, which was the second appearance, so that was pretty decent. I know a lot of people find it really annoying. You end up with a lot of these sets where you're missing like one sticker, but my advice with this is always to just try and play it, like try and refresh it as much as you can. Because obviously the more battles you complete, the more stickers you get, the more likely you are to actually complete the sets. But even if you only complete half the set, or more, slightly more, like if you're missing a couple of cards or stickers, you still get a few stones out of it for free. So always worth setting up these battles whenever Petan is actually on. And then we have, yeah, it's Goku's Compassion. So it's Exploding Rage, attack and defense 15% for 2 turns on the 4th turn from the start of battle. All allies 2 key for 1 turn when there is a Battle of Fate category enemy starting from the 4th turn. So on the 4th turn only, it's once only, but it says start from the start of battle. What is it for? Well, it is just for 1 turn. So basically on turn 4, Exploding Rage allies get attack and defense 15% for 2 turns, and all allies get 2 ki on turn 4 for that 1 turn if there's a Battle of Fate enemy. So it's very specific, but I mean, it could be useful for the right team and everything. And then there were some updates to some other cards, including apparently the stun for the Bardock EZA was incorrect in the coding for the 18 key super. I wouldn't know, as you guys know from the Battlefield rant, because we don't have enough currency, or I don't have enough currency to buy all their EZA medals, so I couldn't tell you about that. And then, yeah, the updated physical Rosé's passive added the extra super attack skill with every 10 attacks. So that's everything from the data download. If we switch over to here, we can take a look at the Dokkan info. So there's our boy Rosé. If you've got him in the game, obviously you can take a look yourself. In fact, I'm going to bring it up on my phone here just so I can see it as well, because I'm going to be using him in a video a little bit later on. Like I say, I have always liked Rosé since his release. You guys know I've been going on about it since his release, that I think he's very underrated. This buff is obviously going to be very, very beneficial for him. And yeah, looking at his passive, I can see that line. It is kind of wedged in the middle like it is in here, but this is basically what was added. Launches an additional super attack every time the character attacks 10 or more times in battle, up to once within a turn. But these all add up. So if he attacks like 4 times in the first turn, for example, then on the next turn, he's automatically going to proc this because he's attacked for the 5th time. So his first attack for that turn is going to be his 5th attack. Then, depending on how many Rainbow Orbs you did, if he does 5 attacks in that turn, that's going to take him up to 10, which is then going to be activating this, and he does another guaranteed additional super. So sometimes this will be the most noticeable after a turn where he maybe didn't do too many attacks, but then he's going to proc like all of those in the next turn because they add up essentially. So that's going to be very interesting. Like, we'll see how we get on. I'll be using him throughout the anniversary to see how he stacks up against the anniversary content, but like on his good turns, he's going to look very, very good. So I am looking forward to trying him out again. He does have the same line added to his transformed passive as well. So he gets the buff transformed as well as untransformed. So then we have the Chilled with his Super Strike. He greatly raises defense in 1 turn, does supreme damage to the enemy, and greatly lowers attack, which we're seeing events now where attack lowering is a little bit more common, so that is quite useful. And then, yeah, he gets attack and defense 30% per key sphere obtained, so he's a nuking style unit. He gets extra attack and defense if they're int orbs. Then he gets additional attack and defense 60% when performing a super. Key 2 and chance to crit and chance to dodge 50% when there are 2 or more Inhuman Deeds allies on the team, which is pretty easy if you're running in with other like Friezas and stuff. High chance to stun all enemies when there are 2 or more superclass enemies at the start of the turn. So this is realistically only relevant in Super Battle Road, but I guess any Super Battle Road stages you haven't done where you can run this guy, then obviously he could be pretty useful there for getting that potential stun. So he's pretty decent. Being a nuking style character, if you pick up a bunch of int orbs, because you can run, like let's say for example you've got the new Frieza. I know not a lot of people will have summoned for him, but as an example, the new Frieza, you can run that extreme int support Vegeta on his team. So this guy, if he picks up a bunch of int orbs, not only are you getting 60% per orb obtained, which can stack him up to a relatively decent number, and then he gets attack and defense 60% when performing a super, it's 60% of whatever that number is after picking up all the orbs. So if he picks up a ton of int orbs and then has, let's say, like 500k defense, when he supers, he's then getting like over 250k defense on super, as well as then greatly raising defense on his super attack. So he has the potential to be pretty good. The only downside, of course, is like any nuking style unit, if you don't get a decent amount of orbs of him, then obviously he's going to look quite bad. Because if his number after picking up the orbs is low, then 60% of that is going to be low. So he's not going to be getting a particularly big buff. But he could be interesting. We'll try him out for sure, showcase him. So we will see how well he can do. And then, of course, we have Bardock. So yeah, hard boy Bardock. I wish they'd done a better job with this guy. Greatly raises defense on super, which is fine. It's an infinite stack. I mean, it's a good super attack effect to have. But key 2, attack and defense 150, additional attack 50% when attacking. Then he gets an additional 20% attack up to 100% and damage reduction of 10% up to 50 per low class warrior ally on the team. But low class warrior is a category that is just in the mud. If this was pure Saiyans, this guy's EZA would be like significantly better. Because think of all the teams you could put him on, right? He's on Super Saiyans, he's on Goku. I mean, he's on Pure Saiyans anyway, but like Super Saiyans, Goku family, bunch of teams you could put him on where you could run a bunch of Pure Saiyan characters and get this full buff. Because if he's stacking defense and having 50% damage reduction, that could be pretty good. But low class warrior ally on the team, it doesn't say other, so it should include him. But like realistically, which other low class warrior characters are you running on any of these big teams for like taking on the bigger bosses in the game? So very disappointing. I really wish they'd EZA'd the Team Bardock Great Apes, because then at least if they'd made a couple of those runnable, he'd have had some low class warrior allies. They EZA'd the LR Team Bardock finally, and they're not particularly great, so they don't really help either, which is annoying. But it is what it is. Additional attack 50% and attacks effective against all types when there's a Wicked Bloodline enemy. I do like the fact they're releasing the Frieza event early as part of this celebration, because it will be fun to try Bardock out in that event. And then he gets an additional attack that has a high chance of becoming a super when there's another low class warrior ally attacking in the same turn. So again, like even just having one low class warrior ally that was good to run on his teams, he's getting an additional attack that has a high chance to become a super, which is then another 50% raise, like infinite stack, and of course giving him an extra 10% damage reduction and 20% attack. So his design is very confusing. And then we have the transformation can be activated on turn 4 or any time when there's a Wicked Bloodline enemy, and then he transforms into Super Saiyan Bardock, where we greatly raise attack and defense for 1 turn on Super, as well as greatly lowering defense. Key 3, attack and defense 180, attacks effective against all types, damage reduction of 18%, additional attack that has a great chance to become a super, additional 100% attack when attacking, medium chance to crit, medium chance to dodge, 3 key, chance to crit and chance to dodge 18%, and damage reduction 18% for 5 turns. So for his first 5 turns, he has 36% damage reduction, and then he has 48% chance to crit and 48% chance to dodge. And then he launches an additional super guaranteed with all attacks becoming crits when there's a Wicked Bloodline enemy. So, like, the Super Saiyan Bardock, he's okay, but the base Bardock is not particularly good, and ideally you want to stack as much as possible before you transform, because you carry over all of those stacks, but you're not very likely to be running him with low class warriors, which means he's not getting the bonus additional attack. You're obviously also not very often going to be fighting against Wicked Bloodline characters. So it's a bit of a confusing design for our boy Bardock, but obviously we'll be doing his EZA live on the stream tomorrow, so do come check that out, get those 30 stages done, and then we'll be doing some testing with him. But yeah, let me know your thoughts on everything included in the data download. Let me know if you're excited for the Rosé buffs. Like I say, the next video going up on the channel in a few hours time will be the updated showcase for him. So I'm looking forward to trying him out. Let me know what you guys think down below in the comment section. So that is going to be it for the video, guys. This has been the Master Ningen. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel if you are new. Check out the links down below for the Discord and the merch store, and I will see you all again soon. Have a good one.